cloud-based collaboration technologies and how you can leverage the cloud to actually increase productivity with those services. So I always like to start by defining collaboration. All right, so the word collaboration to me is the act of people working together to reach a common goal. There are so many different ways that we connect today, and so many different devices and endpoints and applications that we use to come together. As we go through this today, I'm going to talk about the differences between a traditional model of the collaboration applications and technology that we use, and why a migration and movement to cloud-based collaboration services makes sense for organizations of any size. So just some statistics to get us going. Work is more interconnected than ever. If you look at these percentages, they're absolutely incredible. 67% of employees report an increase in work requiring active collaboration. I know in my day-to-day, I'm working with teams, both large and small, both inside my organization and outside my organization. And having a way for those individuals and teams to come together and connect is very, very important, regardless of where they are. 57% increase in the number of employees collaborating from other geographic locations. So regardless if you're a mobile employee, somebody who works from home, or somebody who is in a completely different country, there's tools out there today hosted in the cloud that allow you to knock those walls down and bring people together and continue working while in a meeting as if you were in the same physical space. When that meeting is over, the tools allow that meeting to continue using those applications. So we'll spend a few minutes talking about that as well. And then 50% of business productivity is tied to effective collaboration. Teams are getting larger, they're disparate, and decisions are being made in larger teams. So when I think about working on an opportunity or a project with my coworkers and partners, we're looking for all of us to add and contribute to those projects and initiatives. Having tools that make that easier is very, very important. And mobility is a driving factor. 50% of team communication will occur via mobile group collaboration apps by 2018. For the most part, collaboration takes place in a physical room, a virtual room, or from your mobile device. Desktop collaboration is completely changing. The PC-centric approach is becoming less and less. And because mobility is so prevalent now, the tools have to work out of the pocket as well. 90% of organizations will offer complete mobility to their workers by 2020. That's an impressive statement right there. So in just a couple of years, 90% of the organizations out there will have an option for the employee to be remote. And 30% increase in business calls being made from a mobile device in 2016. So again, if you look at the room or a conference room or a huddle space and your smartphone or mobile phone or mobile devices in a laptop running a soft phone client, that went up 30% last year alone. So mobility is absolutely a driving factor for how these services are being positioned and where you access them. But collaboration is challenging. There's complex and evolving teams. I just touched on that. My teams grow, and I'm working with new people every single day, both inside and outside my organization. There's an increase in non-routine work that requires team decisions. We just touched on that as well. That's one of the things that makes collaboration very, very challenging. People are depending on others because teams are getting so large, and again, you're working with people outside your organization almost as much as you are inside. And then the big one, disjointed tools create inconsistent experiences. So in most organizations that SMP does business in, there are a number of different tools that folks use to come together. Keep track of content, share content, record things, be able to play those things back, have virtual rooms where collaboration takes place. And in the event that an organization isn't giving them the tools to do that, they're going out and getting their own. With mobile devices and applications out there, it's very, very easy to go out and get a free application to connect each other, right, if the organization isn't giving them what they need. but disjointed tools create inconsistent experiences, and leveraging cloud-based collaboration services change that. To build upon that, interdependencies for unified communications and collaboration applications add complexity. Regardless if you do something on-premise, set up a hybrid scenario with on-premise and cloud services, or go all in on the cloud, collaboration can be complex because of all the components that are in play. So when you think about data centers and networks being the linchpin to an on-premise collaboration solution, voice, video, and conferencing and messaging services, it's 100% dependent on those. Unified communications applications like voice, video, and application integration, instant messaging and presence, tying into CRM platforms, collaboration endpoints, whether it be a desk phone, a smartphone, something you're running on the desktop or your laptop, or the room, team collaboration, presence, messaging, file sharing, and federation solutions, different conferencing platforms. So again, we talked about an organization may have a number of different platforms that can be from Adobe Connect to Skype for Business to Cisco WebEx to BlueJeans to Zoom, right? A lot of folks are using different things coming out of different cost centers, and those applications aren't connected. Again, that adds complexity. Security's huge here. Absolutely an interdependency, and you need to be able to secure data, especially when you're talking about documentation and messaging from a compliancy perspective. Training and adoption services is huge, right? A lot of the times, collaboration technology can turn into islands because people don't know how to use them, and if they don't know how to use them, they won't use them, and then you don't get that network effect, right? You can add a telephone to everybody's desk, and you're automatically adding value because people know how to use a phone and everybody has one. If you deploy a collaboration solution, folks need to know how to use it, or it can turn into an island of technology. And then you have the management, the reporting. The reporting is very, very important to ensure that folks are actually embracing and adopting the technologies. And then there's a number of different consumption models as this can be deployed, as I mentioned early on, like on-premise, hybrid, and cloud. At the end of the day, employees, partners, they just want to get things done. But there's a lot of collaboration silos out there. Okay, and we've done that to ourselves. How people really want to meet and come together is if it's an ad hoc meeting, something that is fast, secure, and instant. If it's a scheduled meeting, they want to just be able to schedule it, join it from a room, a desk, or one mobile. They want to run that meeting, whether it be audio, video, and sharing content. And when the meeting is over, they want to be able to continue. Productivity is not a singular event. Productivity happens when people come together time and time again to complete something. So you need to be able to continue the session seamlessly when the meeting is over, whether virtual or physical. So you need those persistent team spaces that allow you to have messaging, team sharing, and reporting. That's what folks are really looking for today. So now let's talk about how the cloud takes that up a level and what the true value prop is. Cloud services value proposition. So this is as a whole. Cloud-based services are already a familiar principle in the consumer world with music, storage, and social media, and increasingly in the business world with customer relationship management, so CRM applications, and other transactional applications. Folks attending this webinar today, I'm sure, are leveraging a number of different SaaS components hosted in the cloud. The SaaS model offers well-known benefits to IT, such as rapid deployment, pay-as-you-go basis, and flexibility to meet changes in demand, and the ability to shift costs from capital to a predictable operating expense, whether that be monthly, annual, or subscription-based service. And at the end of the day, SaaS provides an always-on service for users available anytime, anywhere. So think about that when we're connecting today in this WebEx, how easy it is when services are hosted in the cloud, and how easy it is to connect when we're having a storm like we're having right now, at least in the Northeast, okay, where we've gotten about 30 inches of snow in a day and folks are working from home. Putting these things on premise and relying on your network infrastructure and a number of different applications and services can make things challenging. So the cloud collaboration value proposition: first, less administrative overhead of on-premise collaboration infrastructure and applications, of course. Common management platform for messaging, meetings, and calling, voice and video. All connection points managed via the same pane of glass. This is what's possible when you take advantage of a solution in the cloud. Your in-house engineering resources can focus on strategic IT initiatives, given there's less administrative overhead of taking care of the infrastructure and apps, and learning a number of disparate or disjointed applications requires less time and training and enablement to make sure that they can handle all of that. So it allows them to focus on what's important to the business. We just talked about this, flexible procurement models. The services and solutions that are out there now and the way that you can consume cloud-based collaboration technology is excellent. So many people want to shift costs to an OpEx model, and at the same time, they want to be able to get out if it's not working for them. All right, so not making a big upfront CapEx investment into things that you're putting on-prem, okay, makes it a lot more difficult to get out, right? These are subscription-based services today. And although applications from a web conferencing perspective have been around for some time, they've completely taken it to the next level, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Better and faster return on investment. Okay, so we already talked about how quickly you can deploy these solutions and how quick you can turn up the dial based on demand. All right, so you can go to market quicker with the services, and you're going to get a faster return on investment because of that. Carrier services cost reduction. In the unified communications and collaboration space, if you were to go 100% on-premise with your call control, with your video conferencing solutions, with your messaging platform, you have to put a very, very robust network in. Not to say that you don't need that for a number of different reasons, but networks like MPLS and those MPLS backbones were created to have that private infrastructure and be able to honor and prioritize traffic across that. These cloud-based services all go across the internet. And what's really great is the codecs and the way that these things work are designed so well now, things that weren't possible in the past are possible. Okay, so bandwidth control, media across the internet, going across lossy networks, the experience is still excellent. And several years ago it was not. So internet versus MPLS, you're to take advantage of collaboration services, even from a calling perspective, you can go across the internet to get there. So resilient internet connections is key, but internet connectivity is cheaper than Metro E and MPLS. And then PSTN termination to the cloud. What do I mean by that? With on-premise investment in a voice or telephony platform, you're bringing either SIP trunks or PRIs to the premise to terminate in routers that you invest in to get out to Joe's Pizza Shop or SMP, to access the PSTN, to be able to call home. With the new solutions, those PSTN trunks terminate right in to the hosted provider. And the cost model and the way you consume that can also be OpEx, and it ends up being more cost effective than investing in PRI and SIP trunks into your environment. Collaboration service resiliency, always up. All right, so again, I gave this example earlier in the meeting, but you can be working at home and still get all of your services. You can be on the road, you can be out of country and still have access to all of your services. Now, also possible with VPN technology and services, just far more complex, and you don't need to backhaul all of that traffic into your network to provide that access. To continue on, securely send messages, share files, meet face-to-face with anyone, anywhere, anytime. Security is huge in the collaboration space. People have been trying to master the art of making sure they stay compliant when you're sharing content, putting documents in the cloud, and securing that. There's solutions and services out there now that do this very, very well. And there's a number of different documents in supporting statements that state why it's more secure than doing it in-house. It allows mobility, as we talked about earlier, extending the physical meeting so that productivity moves beyond the confines of the physical room. This is the biggest differentiator, in my opinion, of taking advantage of services in the cloud. Okay? Outside of the faster ROI and not having to take care of everything that you put on premise, services are always up and accessible regardless of where you are. And when you move outside of the physical room and the meeting can continue in a virtual space that's persistent, it changes the game. Improved organization. So a document is kept in a central cloud accessible location. Employees can work on a document from anywhere and share from there. All right, so think about managing your email and sharing documents in email, or using an on-premise solution or a cloud solution like a SharePoint, for example. Okay, having everything accessible in one central repository that you can share with folks both inside and outside your organization, where file limits and sizes are not a concern. You can absolutely improve organization and quickly find things and know where to get things. Higher participation levels. Undoubtedly, if you roll services out like this, you're going to see folks, everybody's different, right? But all team members have an equal opportunity to provide input and be social, okay? And it can be done from anywhere, all right? Improved access to large files, we just touched on this. Plain and simply put, regardless of what your quotas are and how things are configured, email servers can handle large documents. And why do you want those large documents chewing up your storage arrays? Okay, there's the collaboration tools that are out there in the cloud now make this very, very easy to share files back and forth. Real-time updates, right? So confusion over which version is the latest is eliminated. So all this is a really heavy emphasis on collaboration on documents. Real-time updates of the infrastructure managed by the organization who subscribed to the service is also very important, right? The pain of administering an application that's installed on your PC that you have to update yourselves, right? That can be complex and obviously very, very time-consuming. When these services are running in the cloud, things are upgraded and updated for you automatically. And then persistency, okay? So virtual team spaces are persistent in where your work can live. I truly mean that. The latest collaboration technology that's out there today, from a virtual team collaboration perspective, is incredible. It's absolutely where my work lives now. So how can we improve the collaboration experience? Consolidate technology vendors is huge. We know that individuals are going to go out and get applications to do their job and get things done. We talked about that earlier on. They refer to that as shadow IT. However, if you are providing services to your user population and you're subscribing them to those services and telling them that they need to use them, nothing is better than simplifying the experience by consolidating technology vendors. There's a couple of organizations or manufacturers/vendors out there that don't care what people are connecting from, that want you to be able to take advantage of existing investments that you've made. There's a couple of leaders in the space there, and they continue to build technology and acquire technology just so people can connect seamlessly. But if you consolidate technology vendors, it's going to create a reliable and consistent experience. That drives increased use. I made the example of the network effect earlier on handing somebody a telephone. You're adding value without even intending to add value. Okay, so if they have a consistent, reliable experience regardless of where they're meeting, okay, whether it be a huddle space, an executive boardroom, or from your smartphone, if that experience is the same, they're going to use the technology more. If you consolidate technology vendors, it improves interoperability between platforms and devices. It can improve employee satisfaction by providing that increased flexibility and having only one familiar platform to use. And as I already mentioned, it improves ROI due to timely, no-hassle virtual meetings. People just want to be able to meet. Okay, and I have a slide that summarizes that at the end. I want to take a couple of moments and just show you what this looks like. Okay, because a lot of folks have made big investments in on-premise infrastructure and applications to do a lot of these collaboration things. It's a very, very simple migration to the cloud now. Okay, so this is relatively agnostic, this slide here, right? We're talking about directory services. I do call out Microsoft Exchange, but I do call out the O365 cloud, right, in that left cloud. But the way that this is possible now is with connectors at the edge of the network, extending things like your directory schema, your messaging platform, your call platform, and your video platform. So hybrid services is going to be around for a very, very long time when it comes to collab, unless somebody is going 100% greenfield and they can put all their eggs out there based on how their network is designed and services that they need to consume. But this is a really high-level job of how that depicts very well how you extend your environment to a collaboration cloud. Another way that you can improve the experience is to improve the room. All right, so we have very specific meeting space deployment objectives. And if you were to come into our organization, you would see how we do this. But to create a reliable, consistent, familiar experience for the end user population is the most important thing. I'm not going to call out Steve Jobs quotes or anything here about experience and think about technology later, right? He has a lot of those, but that is so important, okay? Create rooms that are simple, elegant, and inviting. Very important. Quickly and efficiently deploy room solutions. You can do that leveraging cloud services. It's always up, it's always on. A specific vendor right now simply allows you to register a device by entering a 16-digit activation code or holding a QR code in front of a camera, and it registers to your services. Okay? Develop a support strategy. Very, very important. Certain vendors have made it so the old school ways of taking care of a room, that overhead is pretty much gone. But you need to have a support strategy and then be able to provide utilization and ROI data. This is one of the main things that is forgotten when folks are rolling out new room solutions. Okay? You have to have a way to show how the technology is being used, if things are not being used, and report on that. Not only just for capacity planning, but to make sure and track on how well your investment is going. And the result, every use drives future use. Okay, so, just to add to this, these endpoints that you see in these pictures all register to the cloud. You can register them to on-premise infrastructure, but although there's a number of different formats that you see here, from a pretty large conference room to a medium-sized conference room to a boardroom to training rooms, all of these rooms are registered to the cloud and are used using the same exact interface and device. Okay, so when you walk into this space, I see a 4-screen video wall there with another screen hanging off the side and some cameras between it. When you walk into the space, you use the same interface and the same touch device as you would in any of the other spaces. All right, so a single user experience, they know what they do, they know what they need to do regardless of how the room layout is. So that's what I had on improving the experience, all right, and being able to leverage the cloud from a voice, video, and messaging perspective. I just wanted to take a couple of moments and for those on the phone, just show you the industry landscape because we're talking about a number of different providers here. Okay, and a lot of vendors offer solutions hosted out of the cloud. And I just wanted to quickly show the leaders in the voice space. Okay, these are all going to be familiar names. The leaders in the video space. So you have your Polycoms, your Lifesize, your Ciscos. Okay. The leaders in the unified communication space. All right, again, very familiar names. All right, so Avaya, Mitel, Microsoft, Cisco in the upper right-hand quadrant. And then web conferencing. Okay, so AT&T, IBM, Citrix, Microsoft, Adobe, and Cisco in the upper right-hand quadrant. All 4 of these technologies, voice, video, UC, and web conferencing, they do have unique definitions, which is why they have their own quadrants. Some of these vendors are delivering these services from the cloud, and a few of them are delivering all of these services from the cloud, if you want to go that route. Okay? So in closing, what's possible with Cloud Collab? You can expand beyond the desktop to mobility. You can make video collaboration that is as easy as voice, can collaborate beyond corporate boundaries, mitigate security and compliance risks, support integration with existing investments, and provide cost-effective deployment options and shift costs. And I always love closing with this slide, specific to unified communications and collaboration technologies, because this is what it's all about. Okay, lost time is never found again. So if I were to close with anything today, I really want to make it very clear that there are solutions out there that make it so meetings don't start 10 minutes late. And when you walk into a space, everybody knows what they need to do. All right, because lost time is never found again. Right? When we deliver solutions for our customers, whether it be desktop, mobile, or conference room, we want to make sure that those tools are easy to use and that they're always on and that you can meet with the click of a button. Okay, so lost time is never found again. I love that quote. It's so true. The last thing that folks want when you talk about ROI, and one of the hardest things is to measure in the collaboration space from a productivity perspective, right? So leveraging the cloud to be more productive was the theme of this meeting. Those are very hard things to measure. When you have 30 people waiting for a meeting to start and wondering what's going on, and that meeting starts 15 minutes late, you can do the math, right? And there's statistics out there on that. But this is all I had. I think we wanted to put it out there for questions, Jennifer, but this is all I had.
Yes, thanks, John.